and welcome to Chateau de Comics Covered. This is the week of February 21st, 2018, episode 15. This is our comic book podcast.
What's that voice supposed to be?
That was Dominic.
Okay.
He's our manservant here at Comics Covered, a comic book podcast. We talk about comics and the world around them, the comics industry, comics, movies, TV, games. We will talk about spoilers, and we'll probably swear. We'll warn you about the spoilers, though.
Not the swears.
I realized every episode we do warn them about the swears.
Do we?
At the top of the episode.
Okay.
But we don't, not on a swear-by-swear basis.
Not on a swear-by-swear. Yes, of course.
We don't, every time we're about to swear, we don't stop and say, swear warning, crap.
Gird your children. That's what
Gird your children.
That's what we said last time.
I'm Doug. I'm our resident comics know-it-all. For example, I know who Maggot is, and my co-host Jack may not.
No, I do not. I'm Jack. I am a recent... Well, am I still recent? I think I'm recent. What's the average length of time that a quote-unquote knowledgeable comic book reader has been, reading?
Here, let me get my calculator out and just...
Okay, thank you.
It does say fuck you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me turn that upside down. It says boobs.
Oh, cool. Okay. My car actually got to 80085 recently, so that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So, I don't know who Maggot is, and that's fun. Okay. Maggots. God damn it. There's nothing that gives me a clue here.
Maggot.
I'm going to say...
Unless it is a literal maggot.
I know. I don't think it's a...
It's just a named maggot in comics.
I think it's a DC.
All right. Well, after doing DC characters for the past 4 weeks, I did do a Marvel character this week.
Okay.
So it is a Marvel character.
Then I think that Maggot is a Hulk villain. Is that who it is?
It is not.
Okay.
This is...
Don't tell me.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It is a villain. I know that. It has to be. Is it?
No. It's not.
Gosh.
Maggot.
He's a hero? Anti-hero?
He's a hero.
Hero. Okay. Don't tell me. So Maggot, God, he must be a disgusting person, right? So he's a disgusting person who was really unkempt and before he found his powers of burrowing and just being slimy and stuff, squishy. He was a man eating, being a slob, eating pizza all the time and being a disgusting person. But then when he, fell into I think he just, he got shrunk or something at some point and he came upon a maggot, colony and he met the queen and the queen endowed him with powers. Like a maggot.
Like maggots, what happens to maggots.
Yeah. That's about all I can garner. So, was he at least a disgusting person?
Oh, he's very disgusting. He is a mutant character in the X-Men universe.
I should remember.
He has been on the X-Men and a spin-off team called Generation X. And basically Maggot... he has two instead of a normal digestive system, he has two very large maggots who live in his tummy. Like a
parasite?
Yeah, two very large parasites, I should say. Maybe not strictly maggots, but they're two very large sluggy parasite things.
Is that a good thing? Is that
I guess they're not really parasites because it's kind of a symbiotic thing. So not quite
they can
the
still
right
be
word.
Parasites. That is the right word.
Okay, so they live in his stomach, and then they come out, and then they eat things, and they go back into him. They can eat anything. They're like Matter Eater Lad, only they're two sluggy things. And then they go back into him, and he absorbs the energy, and he is powerful.
Like he has strength, super strength and stuff?
Let me clarify. Let me just clarify this.
Enhanced
superhuman strength and stamina.
Okay.
This can be a painful process.
Jesus. Is he does he have his own series somewhere?
I don't think Maggot has had a book
called
Maggot or anything.
A reimagining of him could be that could be an interesting, with that pain that every time he uses his powers, it's actually really painful for him too.
I do not see a self-titled Maggot series anywhere, but...
Can we have one more discussion, by the way? So, I think I've noticed this a little bit, but some people have enhanced strength, some people have super strength, correct? It's a difference that they make in comics, yes?
I'm not entirely sure what the distinction they're making is. That's just phrasing.
Well, I was thinking, enhanced strength is just enhanced strength is like punching someone and they go flying. Super strength is like punching someone and they go through a building.
Well, sure, I guess, yeah. Sure.
Captain America has
I understand the concept
strength.
of, there are degrees to which characters have...
Jessica Jones, for example, does she have super strength? Or no, she has enhanced strength, I think. But Superman has super strength. And the Hulk has super strength.
Yeah, I get if you're setting it up like that, yes, I would characterize. Yeah, I don't know that that's a strict rule of those terms that anyone uses, but I can see where you're coming from there.
Okay, never mind then. Mm-hmm. I'm done.
Okay. That's Maggot. Jack, how was
Maggot?
It?
It was good. I watched a few videos. I guess a bit ago, Don Cheadle did these videos with, I think it was Funny or Die, and he was playing a Captain Planet that goes crazy and is evil and turns everybody into trees, and he goes insane.
Well, that's what normal Captain Planet does. He turns everybody into trees. He loves trees.
Yes, and he hates woodpeckers.
Is that a thing in the bit?
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I watched it a long time ago.
It's really funny.
Did you watch that?
I saw that.
Did you watch that because of Beetlejuice?
Oh, it might have been in my head about that. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I was more attracted to that video because I remembered you or Leah talking about Beetlejuice, which is that a currently upcoming movie?
It's in the works. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? We both saw. Yeah. We both saw a thing. We saw
a thing. Annihilation.
The Annihilation,
which is a great movie.
It is fantastic.
Everyone should see it.
Yes.
It's very cool. It's kind of unsettling, but really beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, kind of, Yeah,
it's a very surreal, it's almost like Lovecraftian, in that it's all just kind of about the scientists going into the unknown, and it's just fucking weird, and they're all driven insane by it. But
and a great origin story for Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie.
Exactly.
Just so everyone knows.
I was about to just completely spoil the movie with a joke, but I won't do it. Don't
do it.
Cool. Annihilation.
Everyone
Very good.
See it. We're just tired right now. We're really underselling it. So just see it. We want this to make money.
Fantastic movie. It contains possibly one of the best sci-fi sequences I've seen in a movie in my lifetime.
Yeah. God, that was so cool.
That scene.
It's just
very great movie.
Cool. Maybe that one part is Maggot. It's a Maggot origin story. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Do
you know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to think. Trying to think. Maybe. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Got some slugs. Got some
totally
slugs in there. All right.
Okay, in any case.
Let's move on over into news. So Black Panther released last week, this last weekend, and we both saw it, and we both talked about it, and liked it quite a bit. So it's doing very well. It has had the highest grossing first week of any Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, which is impressive.
Really? Over Avengers?
Yes. It is second.
Second after Avengers.
Second highest opening weekend after Avengers, but it has had the highest grossing first week.
Oh.
So including like weekdays afterwards.
Wow.
And then, so its opening weekend made $202 million. It is currently the fifth highest grossing Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, overall after its opening week. $400 million domestically, $700 million globally. That's quite a bit of money. By comparison, Justice League just eked past $300 million.
Are you serious?
In its, I'm not like just. I assume it made more than that at some point, but like it took it a little while to hit that.
And that's its budget.
Yeah.
Oh, Warner Brothers, so sad.
So sad.
Wait, you know that Michael Bay movie though? It's coming out. It's gonna be great.
That Michael Bay Lobo movie. Fuck.
Yeah.
Every time I remember that, it just blows my mind.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was great and it deserves it, but I do think that, these movies are going to just get more and more money as they go along.
I mean, if they continue to be good, like, there's no reason
yes, that's true.
Like, more people are just going to jump on the bandwagon,
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I was watching somewhere that apparently we shouldn't talk about the MCU all this much, but it's going to be really cool to see, like, after Infinity War and the sequel of that, it's going to be really interesting to see how that works out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm super pumped to see how they deal with that sort of game changer.
Yeah, it sounds like they're resetting the table quite a bit at the end of Infinity War. So I'm very curious to see, and they kind of need to. For a lot of reasons, not the least of which is this is a live action franchise and actors aren't gonna be in these movies forever for various reasons. But I am very, very curious to see where they are going forward. And I for reasons we'll maybe get into in a little bit, I am interested to see how maybe big changes in the movies might trickle down into some of the other stuff like comics.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
other big news this week, Joss Whedon was tied to this Warner Brothers Batgirl movie, which they were trying to position as one of their next movies.
Because he really wanted to make that, right? It was like a kind of a passion project in a way.
I don't know exactly like what he has said about it or anything, but like he definitely was very on board to make a Batgirl movie, and then they split this last week. It doesn't sound like he was fired or he like left because quit or anything. Just he said, I really didn't have a story. So that was a direct quote from him. So like he just kind of like tried for a little bit and then was just like, you know what, I don't really have like something I'm really all that excited about to do with this, so I think I'm just gonna leave. It sounded pretty amicable. So
do you think they have someone else that has a story?
Do any of the people who make any of these DC movies have a story?
That's mean, Doug. That's just mean.
I don't know.
Michael Bay will have a story. He always does.
He always does. Oh, good old Michael Bay.
Okay. Well, that's too bad. Joss Whedon's fun.
Yeah, I like Joss Whedon. I think he would have been a good fit to lighten their movies up. I mean, he did. Yeah. I mean, he did lighten up Justice League, but I mean, to what degree? Who knows? But
Yeah.
It seems.
Have you heard about people talking about wanting the Snyder cut?
Yeah, fuck that shit. There was literally, like, people were marching on, like, the DC, headquarters. Like,
oh my God.
I love the, what was it? It said, like, dozens of fans.
Oh man, there are dozens of us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was, like, the exact phrasing. It's like dozens of fans march on DC. Like, fucking what? Like, who cares? Like, even if you like his movies, what? Fuck.
Because
fuck
people like the people who are doing the, boycott of, or like slash of the ratings for Black Panther, people like that, they won't, like, for some reason they want to find any way that the DC movies being bad isn't just because they're doing badly. There's something else, there's, Joss Whedon came in the middle and that's what made it all confusing. It's not Zack Snyder. If it was just Zack Snyder, it'd be good. And then when that's bad, it'd be, well, he just didn't have all the, pawns in play or something. I don't know.
But he made a whole movie himself though, and it was bad. He made 2 whole movies himself.
They would say that I don't know, man. Martha Twist was great.
Oh, boy.
Why did you say that name? Sorry,
I'm excited when we find out that Wonder Woman's mom's name is actually also Martha.
That'd be interesting. What is her mom's name? Do we know?
Yeah, we meet her in the movie. What is her name? Hippolyta.
I didn't see Wonder Woman.
Hippolyta.
I didn't see her. I didn't see Wonder Woman, remember?
You didn't see Wonder Woman?
I need to see it still.
Wonder Woman's fun. I like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I heard it was.
It's the one good movie they've made. All right. So in other news, so this is a weird bit of rights.
Yeah, I found
rights
this
thing. So you know how Captain Marvel, the upcoming what is her name?
Captain Marvel,
the actress
with Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. The Brie Larson starring Captain Marvel movie from Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The villain in that has been confirmed to be the shape-shifting alien race, the Skrulls. We know that. Hey, turns out, guess, another movie's going to use them. Could you guess, like, what movie might be using them? Jack?
This is a rhetorical. Oh, you're right. Well,
okay.
There's one studio that owns a lot of, different properties that has been weird in the past. So I would guess Fox and maybe.
Okay. Well, you didn't go along with the bit, but all right.
What?
So.
What is it? What's the bit?
You were supposed to play dumb. You were supposed to play dumb on that bit, Jack. All right. So.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Fox is, in their, Dark Phoenix movie, their upcoming X-Men Dark Phoenix, centered around what's her face from Game of Thrones is Sophie Turner, her Jean Grey character turning into the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
They're also going to use the Skrulls. And
which is weird.
It is weird. It's another weird shared rights thing, like, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, in which, like, no one strictly has the rights, but because of, like, their connection to various different characters, either of them can claim that they have the rights. I think Fox, claims to own them on the basis of their, I think their connection to the Fantastic Four, maybe? Not sure.
Can I say what's weird about this and what my prediction is? Okay, so the Skrulls are a pretty big character, right? Or pretty big race in comics.
Yeah, in the Marvel universe, they're like the big alien. Deal. Well, they're one of the big alien races. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they, how long have we known that Captain Marvel is going to feature the Skrulls? A pretty long while, right?
Yeah.
Since before the Disney-Fox merger kind of thing, and the buy and everything, all that talk.
I mean, who knows how long that was going on, but definitely before that was, like, in the public knowledge.
Yeah, and when did they wrap filming on Dark Phoenix? Not that long ago, right?
Did they already film that?
I thought they did. I thought it was coming out pretty soon.
Oh, huh. Well, all right. Well, they're still filming Captain Marvel, so maybe they did it first.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking but also they didn't say anything about the Skrulls until now. Like, I'm just wondering if they're trying to use them in a way that'll be easy to integrate them.
You mean like with the Marvel stuff?
Yeah, like what if they don't show them as aliens and they only show them as the certain characters or whatever, and then like when the whole merging comes around, they're like,
these X-Men movies aren't going to become part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
How do you know it's not going to be like some weird universe shit?
That's not going to happen. They're going to throw all that shit out. I'm sorry. Like,
but why would they do this? Like, so close. Like,
why did they do the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch thing at the exact same time? Because it's two people came up with the idea to use them. They saw the other person doing it, and they were like, well, we're too far down this production rabbit hole to, like, change all this shit, and it's also a weird, like, dick measuring thing. You back down, we're using these characters, and neither of them do. So...
But why do they need the Skrulls? Because isn't the Dark Phoenix, like, a villain in and of itself?
I don't know. I can't tell you, man.
Is it going to be like a puberty thing? Like, Dark Phoenix is, like, trying to take hold as she goes through, like... I don't know. How old is she supposed to be again? Jean Grey in these movies?
I think... I don't know. She's at the... Jean Grey
High school?
Not Jean Grey School. It's the Xavier Institute.
Does it become the Jean Grey School?
I think it currently is. In comics. Not in the movies. I don't know. Late teens, maybe.
Okay. Give me a little bit. I just have to do one thing, okay?
Right. So, other news.
Just go to Comics News. I'll be right back.
Are you plugging in your laptop again? All right.
No.
Great. So, Comics News. Solicitations for May dropped this week. We're gonna save those for next week. We're gonna have to do a little bit of a filler episode next week because I will be out of town in Ireland, out of the nation, across the ocean, over the big old water there. So we're gonna save solicitations for next week. We actually already recorded that episode, so I can tell you it's a lot of solicitations. So exciting.
I'm back.
You're back. What did you do?
Sorry. That was fast, right?
Sure. What did you do?
Okay. I'm in an office right now, and the person that usually uses this office, I had to give them their checkbook.
Okay. So...
Very exciting.
Also, Diamond Comics, the comic book distributor, the sole comic book distributor in the industry, came out with an announcement this week that they're starting a service called Pullbox, that they are running through their Previews World website, which is basically the site for, previews of books come out. Anyway,
oh, they already have a website?
Well, there's a website called Previews World, and that is the site that is going to be apparently running this Pullbox.
Is that the thing that DC dropped out of?
They both dropped out of it. Marvel started doing their own thing a little while ago, in the last few months.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're both...
Okay, because I saw stuff about that.
They're both doing their own... I don't know if they're I assume their stuff is in those things, but they're doing their own previews books that have extra content and stuff in them. I think they have comics and stuff in them. Anyway,
okay.
But
this is so cool.
So yes, they're starting this Pullbox service, and it sounds like a boring industry thing, but basically the long and short of it is that this is a cloud-based and internet-based platform that your local shop will, assumedly, if they sign up, will have synced with your list, and basically every shop who participates will have for the customer, free way to manage their pull digitally. So I don't know if it specifically trickles over into I mean, I assume it'll all be based on like pre-order stuff. Like you'll have to say that you want stuff 3 months ahead of time. But I don't know. Like maybe you can drop stuff, and I don't know. I'm always confused about that, to be honest, about like dropping books from your poll, and like, are they going to like say that you pre-ordered stuff for the next 3 months, even after you've dropped it? My shop doesn't do that, but I don't know if that's normal or not.
But will that make a problem with this thing? Because, you know, it's, I don't know. That is an interesting thing to say.
I don't know. I'm not sure how most shops do that, but anyway, my shop does not have a digital way to do this. I would hope that they would sign up for this, because I have mentioned many times off of the podcast, I would really appreciate a way to be able to access and manage my pull list outside of the shop, like just to be able to just log on to a service and just be like, I don't want to read Moon Knight anymore, and just take it off. Without
also, if they sync it with like the solicitations as well, and you can like search for things that you want to put on your poll, that'd be so great.
And it would just be really nice. Like, you'd hear about a book, you'd go on the thing, and you'd probably just add it, and then you wouldn't have to remember it. And like if like I have a really hard time just remembering like to do the like bits of management when I'm in my shop, like to be like, can you drop this and can you add this? Yeah, so it would be a really good quality of life kind of thing, in terms of
quality.
I just mean like it's
just a really funny way to like, that's my quality of life. Like, you know how you're always talking about.
My brain always thinks of that in the video game sense. People always use that in video game reviews. Quality of life improvements.
What?
That's not that weird. You think everything is so fucking weird that you've never heard of.
No. I don't think it's necessarily weird, but I've never heard quality of life as a video game thing. What does that mean?
It just means they've streamlined like a mechanic so that it takes less steps, or they've like made it easier to do.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because the only time I've seen quality of life is like in a certain period of a government or something, like in European government or something. If you ever, Euro history, European history, like quality of life of this time period in UK was shitty, but then it got better. You know what I mean? Do you remember learning about that kind of stuff? I don't know. That's so weird that's okay. I'm going to use it from now on. That's cool. I'll do it.
Okay. So also that.
But the Diamond Comics thing, that's going to be so cool.
Assuming it's as useful as it sounds like it would be, that sounds like it could be pretty cool.
Quick discussion. Sorry. Diamond Comics, do you know how they became like a monopoly? Like when that company came to be and stuff? Because I have no idea.
I don't know their history as like a company. As far as I know, they have been the only distributor for a long time. So
Okay. I'm gonna do research and I'll report back and I'll figure it out. I'm interested.
Yep. They were investigated by the government a long time ago, and they came to the conclusion that they couldn't have a monopoly because comics was too small of an industry. Basically, they considered it a subset of just publishing in general. So they didn't consider that. Wow. They were like, well, but there's lots of publishers, but there's not for comics. So, and it's not really the same industry as just book publishing. So, anyway.
Wow. I wonder if Diamond Comics would be against like comic books being sold more in a way, like keeping it to a specific number month by month so that they don't. Like, I wonder if there's something that they avoid having too many sales or too much popularity.
They've been established for so long at this point. Like, I would doubt that anything would happen to them even if the industry blew up. But I think if the industry were to blow up, which it probably won't, the other publishers would probably, like smaller distributors would probably come to be. Anyway, okay. Let's see other news here. Chris Samney Somni is leaving Marvel after a 10-year tenure at the publisher.
Yes.
He and Mark Waid have been doing Captain America most recently. And
yes, we're reading that.
The Waid is continuing on without him. But Chris Samnee's last issue is going to be Captain America number 700. So,
which is soon. It's got to be soon, right?
Yeah, what
it's like 699 next.
Is it? Oh my god, are we that far? Jeez.
Wait, is Samnee the artist?
Yeah. Samnee.
Oh, that sucks. So they're not going to do the Marvel style thing anymore?
I don't know how they're going to change up how they're like creating the book. I would imagine it's relatively
Damn, I like that art a lot. That's like one of the reasons that I really like that book,
it's
honestly.
Sad. Like they're Samnee and Waid together are a really, really, really good writer-artist duo. They work really well together. Mark Waid's best stuff is with Chris Samnee. They're replacing him on that book with Leonardo Romero. And if you care to look up his art at some point, he was posting some Captain America character study stuff on Twitter. He looks nigh indistinguishable from Chris Samnee to me. I mean, I'm sure someone who maybe knows a little bit more of their shit about art or whatever, art or whatever, would probably look at it and be like, oh, those look nothing alike. But to me, like, if I picked up, I mean, I'm sure I will be able to tell the difference generally in the book, but like just looking at like a drawing from either of the two of them and being like, who was who, I might not be able to tell you. It's very similar.
Okay. I'm looking at it now. It does. I mean, wow. There's a Doctor Who comic?
Oh yeah, there's an everything comic.
Do you think there's a Days of Our Lives comic?
Anything fantasy or sci-fi.
Days of Our Lives is?
What now?
Okay. Do you think people like still know what Days of Our Lives? Like young people, do you think young people know what Days of Our Lives is?
I doubt a young person today knows what Days of Our Lives is. I barely know what Days of Our Lives is. It's a soap opera. I know that. That's about it. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Okay. In any case, I was just looking at it. I mean, it looks good. I don't know. There's an aspect, I don't know what it is about it. What do you like about his art? Like, I don't know.
It's just
like watching
really, really refined.
Clean.
Like, it's like every line is exactly where it needs to be and nothing is out of place. Like, it's really hard to define. It's just like it looks exactly how it should. You know?
And how he works the pacing into it.
Oh yeah, the pacing
that's him, right?
His sequential pacing in his books, Samnee's, is super, super strong, among the strongest in the industry. Like, he just really understands how to really clearly break down a sequence and let you know exactly what's happening and the order it's happening in.
Yeah.
And what you're supposed to get from each panel, like the information you're supposed to be getting. I'm really going to miss him. I'm very excited to hear what he's going to do next, because I assume someone's going to announce a big book with him in the not too distant future, because everyone, Samnee is an industry, like in the industry, he is very well regarded.
Okay. What do you think he'd be good fit for?
Like, he fits best in my experience on like more retro kind of throwback stuff at Marvel, in his work at Marvel. But also maybe that's just what he was doing with Waid, but I don't know.
Yeah. What about something like, what do you think he might be joining Jason Aaron's Adventures?
Well, he's not working at Marvel anymore.
Oh, yeah, I just saw. Okay, yeah, never mind.
He's not just leaving Captain America. Yeah, he is leaving Marvel in general. I would really be interested to see him do like a spy book, like a straight up espionage book, I think that's really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cool. Also, we have big news from Marvel this week as well. Not that wasn't big news, but this is like...
Oh yeah, wait, they're gonna do their legacy reboot, right? Kind of thing?
What are you their legacy reboot?
Yeah, they're doing that new... They just did their legacy reboot. That's the big news, right? Oh no, they're doing another relaunch.
They're doing another relaunch. They're doing their yearly relaunch.
Wait, wasn't that less than a year ago, though?
That was... we
like
read
6
that
months ago.
at around the beginning of this show. It was maybe slightly before the beginning of the show.
That's insane.
But, yeah, so, like, less than 6 months.
What the fuck is wrong with
They
them?
do this every year, if not multiple times a year. They relaunch all of their books. It's very frustrating, especially since the last one was entirely based around, I'm just talking purely from a, I'm following books and you keep relaunching them standpoint right now. But, the last one was all about we're going to go back to legacy numbering and all that shit. And they're apparently not getting rid of the legacy numbering on the new books, but they're going to put both the legacy numbering and number one.
Oh my god.
So they're going to put dual numbering on all of these new series that had legacy numbering, like the relaunched series.
It's not going to be called Avengers 690 and number one, is it?
I think they are going to do that. I think they're 100% going to do that.
Is that going to make it harder to search for and stuff? Or can you search for either? It's
maddening. First off, for anyone who hasn't heard the news, this is Marvel announced this new initiative. It's called Fresh Start, as far as I can tell, which sounds like a placeholder thing, but I think it's actually what they're calling it. It's Fresh Start. It's the most generic relaunch title I've ever heard. But so anyway, they are relaunching all their books, and it is going to make it very, very confusing because they do this every year, and every time. I have a digital a comics management system in my computer. Basically, I add all of my comics into it, and then I put them in a box after I got them in my system, just so I know exactly what I have. And Marvel series have become a nightmare to put in because there are so many volumes of everything now. Because every time they relaunch with a new number one, it becomes now this is volume 8 of Captain America or whatever. And it's just Jesus Christ, stop it. You've had 4 in the last 4 years. It's maddening. Anyways, what
was the relaunch before Legacy?
They had 10 different variations of Marvel Now with an exclamation mark. There was Marvel Now, then New Marvel Now, and then all new Marvel Now.
Oh my god!
All new. There was all new, all different Marvel Now.
Yeah.
So.
Also, sorry, Legacy was September 27th of 2017. So yeah. God damn.
So I think I want to come back to this later in the show if we have time. But the big news to come out of this, in terms of names on books, they announced Jason Aaron is taking over Avengers. He's going to be following up directly on the stuff he set up in Legacy, meaning the Avengers of 10,000 BC or whatever that was, whatever year that was. So the Odin and the Phoenix and those characters. Prehistoric Ghost Rider. And then also Donny Cates taking over Venom with a new number one, which is exciting.
Wait, Prehistoric Ghost Rider? I'm sorry. I was zoning out. What does that mean?
You read Legacy. He was in it. He wrote a woolly mammoth.
Oh yeah. God, I haven't read that in a long time. I liked that issue.
Yeah, it was good. It was just like, it was
good.
just disappointing that like nothing followed up on it. And now apparently that writer, Jason Aaron, one of Marvel's big writer, is going to come back and actually follow up on it. So I guess they were just kind of keeping that from everyone else so that he could come back and follow up on it.
Like a doomsday clock.
Yeah,
thing.
a little bit. It seems like he's finishing up his Thor stuff. He finished up his Doctor Strange run recently. So he's being freed up so he can do this New Avengers run. Okay. Yeah, so those names on books are exciting. Again, at some point I want to come back and talk about some of the maybe meanings of going back to, they're making a big push to go back to the original incarnations of these characters. We're going back to Tony Stark as Iron Man. We're going back to Bruce Banner as Hulk.
Steve
We're going
Rogers.
we very recently went back to Steve Rogers as Captain America. I have thoughts about that, and I'd like to talk about that at some point. But first, let's get the rest of the show out of the way, and then maybe we'll come back if we have time.
Okay.
Let's talk about our weekly comics, Jack. So this week, we both read a number of books. Jack, how about you take away our shared books this week?
Why? Because you're eating up the runtime?
Because I'm handing it off to you.
Oh, cheerio. I'm the running back. I'm running. Okay, sorry. The books that we both read this week were Doctor Strange Damnation #1, which is great. We'll talk specifics about that one. Ice Cream Man #2, which we will also talk, spoilers and specifics about. Justice League #39, which is fun. Avengers 681. Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye / Swamp Thing special, #1. Or Milk Wars Part 4. Hellboy and the BPRD. Are you sure? Wait, it's the BPRD, not BRPD?
BPRD.
Okay. 1955, The Burning Season. A one-off. That was my first Hellboy thing.
And then I also picked up Batman #41, December 27. I read Infinity Countdown Prime. We're not going to talk about it, but it's the lead-ins.
Oh, yeah. Okay, quick. Just a quick overview.
Let me get through these and then I'll... Infinity Countdown Prime #1, Superman #41, The Brave and the Bold #1, and...
Oh, and I also picked up Baby Teeth #1, even though that wasn't a new thing. I'm liking Donny Cates so far, so I want to look at these things. It's weird. It's cool. It's
Infinity Countdown Prime, it was good. You know, it was like it's you're not getting like really a story in it. It's more just like it's a lot of stage setting, like it's I probably needed. Like if after reading that issue, if I were to just jump into the actual Infinity Countdown series or the actual start of the Infinity series, if I was looking at the status quo of where a lot of these characters are, this book, because there are a lot of characters I don't normally read, I would probably be pretty lost. But this book does a pretty decent job of kind of just giving you the lowdown on like, oh, here's what the Guardians of the Galaxy are kind of doing right now, and how that ties into the Infinity Stones and stuff. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So spoiler
warning. Jack, do the noise. Thank you. Oh, we got like a revving of an engine this week.
Yeah.
Rev your comics engines.
You're revving my engine.
Oh, okay, I don't like that. Jack, what was your favorite cover in your books this week?
Okay. My cover of the week is the Milk Wars Part 4, Cave Carson, and the cybernetic, that Swamp thing, because you were telling me about this map of the multiverse that was like really like, it was made up by Grant Morrison, I guess, and I was reading it, and I think it's really cool on this cover because, as in the story, and just spoilers in general, kind of, we learn that sort of Cave Carson is working in this office building, which is retcon, and, this really important thing in the multiverse is underneath everything like you would have at work. Like, I don't know, it's like your calendar but you have coffee stains on it, and it's just kind of in the background. It's not really like, it's like whatever. So you're sort of saying like, the grand scheme of what you're doing doesn't really matter. Just do what's in front of you right now, and just get in day by day. And I think that's really cool with how the whole story goes too. And since we're not talking specifics about it, I thought this was really, really cool, having not read these titles at all. I thought it was really great.
I would have picked this if you hadn't. I'm a real big sucker for like comics doing like more like almost this cover's not really like photoreal, but like it's definitely much more in that direction. Like it's going for like a photographic kind of feel, as if this is like a photo of the top of someone's desk. We've got like the top of a laptop and a phone and someone's cup of coffee and stuff. And I'm just always a sucker for that. I like the like kind of dissonance between that and like the interior art. And I like covers that are like not just here's a character and they're looking badass, or here's a bunch of people punching each other. I think this is a. You
mean like the Justice League picture?
Yeah. The Justice League covers have been pretty generic. Anyway, yeah, this is I really like this cover. It's got some really great colors as well.
Yeah. What's your cover?
I really liked Hellboy and the BPRD 1955 Burning Season. Number 1.
It's cool. It's also got that kind of photoreal thing.
It's a very painted, like poster kind of feel. Paulo Rivera, the interior artist, did this cover. And I love when he does that, because he has done this on the he did one or two other of these Hellboy and the BPRD series, the interiors and the cover. And I just really like that as a thing. Like when there's an interior artist who does all the art in the issue and they do the cover, but they do the cover in a different style. And I'm also just, I'm a sucker for painted covers in comics as well.
Really? Okay. I should make a list of everything you're a sucker
for pyramid schemes.
Oh, well, okay. I was a part of one.
What pyramid scheme?
The Cutco vector marketing stuff.
Oh boy, yeah, no, yeah.
I got a call and said that that Mona friends offered me. Said I should be considered for a job interview. So yeah, that's how it started it all. I was poor.
Yeah, I've heard horrible things.
In any case, yeah, I like this cover too. I like this issue too. Just a quick shout out, because we're not going to talk about it, but this was my first Hellboy thing, and it was. I liked it a lot, but I think at the end it has an example of a moral that they didn't need to state outright.
I don't quite understand. I don't understand how it's a moral. To me, it sounded like they were just kind of explaining what happened.
Yeah, but it's a common thing. Okay, one of the ideas behind this is remembering bad events that have happened in the past. Things like the Holocaust, things like slavery in America. You can't hope to overcome these things and to make all reparations like for these heinous acts. You can't like hope to specifically be punished for your crime. That's not something that we're aiming to do. It's just to remember these things and to give thanks that we're not in that sort of period anymore. That's a common thing, and they said that outright. Like you could never overcome this flaming thing. You could only hope to remember it and whatever. I just think they didn't need to say it outright.
Okay, I thought it was pretty small, and it didn't bother me. But
I just thought it was an interesting difference between that and how Black Panther did their message.
Black Panther pretty much directly stated their morals multiple times.
They did, but it was dialogue. In a way that made sense, I thought, within the entire structure. This was just a scene of them after the fact, just like, oh, and what did we learn today?
I don't know.
With Black Panther, they weaved it into every single part of the story, and it was the basis for the entire character. This one, they have the subtext behind the action and everything, and then at the end, they just tell you the subtext for the action.
Anyway, we don't need to get bogged down in this. We were talking about the cover, but
the cover is great.
The cover is very good.
And I liked the whole thing. It's just that one thing.
Right.
Anyways.
What's
your pick,
each
Doug?
week we pick 2 books that we are most interested, most anxious to talk about. We have thoughts about these books. My pick this week was Doctor Strange Damnation #1. This is a new crossover series by regular Doctor Strange writer Donny Cates, along with Nick Spencer and artist Rod Reese. And this is basically, in some ways, it's Doctor Strange dealing with the fallout of recent event Secret Empire, which I wasn't prepared for. They didn't really set this book up in that way. But, I mean, I don't know. I got it. I didn't read Secret Empire, but I
guess
got
it was a big part of it.
I picked up, information about it, like current events stuff, but from reading my other books. But, anyways, yeah, so in this book, Vegas has been destroyed, and the setup is, they're having like a memorial or a press conference. They're talking about, like, how they won't forget this travesty, and they're honoring the people who died there. And Doctor Strange shows up, and he's like, yo, what if this didn't happen?
Yeah.
Las Vegas has been devastated. Like, it's been razed to the ground. Everyone in it, I assume, is dead, because he brings them all back to life. Did you see this as a commentary on the events of the Doctor Strange movie?
How so? What do you mean?
There's the very prominent, they're in the Doctor Strange movie, the final sequence. They made a very big point of, like, well, every superhero movie, and this is just from interviews or whatever, they're like, well, every superhero movie, the final act has a city getting destroyed. So we're going to do the opposite. We are going to have a city be rebuilt. And so in the Doctor Strange film, Stephen Strange shows up too late to the final battle, and the city has been destroyed. And he uses magic to rewind time and undo all the destruction.
I forgot about that.
All the
part
building,
of the
there's
movie.
all these slow-mo shots of all the buildings, the rubble flying up back together, people who are dead on the ground, rewinding back up into standing living positions.
I need to watch that movie again, I think, because I don't remember that.
The exact same thing basically happens here. Doctor Strange shows up to the scene of devastation. He reaches out with his magic, and he, like, pulls back together all of Las Vegas. And everyone who died in Las Vegas during this tragedy is alive again and is reunited with their family and stuff. And it goes bad. As opposed to the Doctor Strange movie, which has basically no consequences over that. It's just good. But I really saw this as a direct commentary on those events from the Doctor Strange movie, where he's like so proud of what he's done. He's like, this is like what we should always be doing. Like, we should be like striving to solve these problems in different ways. But then, like, turns out he's kind of fucked up the balance of, like, life and death, it seems here. And this like hell casino run by Mephisto, who's one of the lords of hell, bursts up through the ground, and he wants Las Vegas back because it had been sent to hell basically when it was destroyed.
Well, it's like he does the balance, and as he says, he has a reveal in here that says the house always needs to win, and he won. You can't just take your money back from the casino.
Yeah. So really the reason I want to talk about this is because I'm starting to see the pattern in kind of, I know this book was co-written by Nick Spencer, but I think it does fit into what is becoming what I think is Donny Cates's kind of take on the character. in that
Yeah.
this run on this character is kind of about his overconfidence, his his hubris in a way, in that like he's really, really self-assured in that like I'm doing the right thing, you know? And I think that I hope that the long run of Cates's Doctor Strange will be about him kind of being brought back to Earth in that regard. Kind of realizing he needs to have a little bit more thought and caution about how he uses magic and how that affects people and the world around him.
Yeah. I love this page, this full page of him, his face in the center with blissful ignorance, as like everything is all good and great with the families being reunited, people healed, rejoicing. This is who we are. This could be the world we live in. Did you see this page that I'm talking about?
Yep, I'm looking at it.
Oh god,
it's a very good page.
Oh,
also,
shit.
I just really liked Rod Reese's art.
I think it's great.
Very good. Very, very, very good.
But like I think I got through this with some introductions and everything to Mephisto. I think I got through this with little confusion. But it's just, I think it's a great beginning. And like you said, I need to watch that movie again, because that is a great commentary to have. Like, I've always wondered, like, if he has this time stone and everything, there should be a way that he should be able to do this. But, you know.
Yeah, just show up to every, like, it's like kind of answering the question, like, why doesn't, if he can do that, like, why doesn't he show up to every disaster and undo it? You know?
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a reason why he doesn't do that. There have to be consequences. And they address that directly here. Cool.
This would be great.
Yeah, this book is great. I'm excited for they set up at the end a bunch of the kind of mystic end of the Marvel universe is getting called together by Wong and Bats the Basset Hound to help Doctor Strange overcome this threat, and there are a bunch of very exciting characters that I'm excited to see interact with Doctor Strange and with each other.
Do you know how many issues this is supposed to be?
I would guess 6, but I don't know.
Okay, and we get Bats as a ghost.
Yeah, we get which kind of confirms that he's going to be, at least for a little bit, a recurring character. Now that he's a ghost, Bats is the Basset Hound, who was Doctor Strange's friend when he was a vet very recently, and
and does this mean Wong is back then? I guess
Wong is very insistent that he is not back, but he is helping.
Oh yeah,
but maybe that's part of the. Maybe that's part
foot
of
in the door.
What now?
He's got the foot in the door. Doctor Strange has the foot in the door.
I think that's the idea, is that, like, as much as he tries to escape this, like, he can't. You know?
Yeah. I feel that.
Cool.
Well, am I going to my pick?
Yeah. Let's talk about Ice Cream Man.
No, I picked my nose. Oh, sorry. In any case, Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man. Okay, so last week, I finally got the second printing of the first issue of this, so I got this. I guess I could have just jumped on this one, but I liked the first issue anyway, so this is great. This is like for anybody that doesn't know, this is like an anthology series on different sort of horrific, upsetting things that all somehow go around this ice cream truck and man. Mm-hmm. And this one is definitely upsetting and unsettling. It's basically about what do you think? It's touching.
It's very different from the first issue.
It is very different.
I'm very curious what you think of this series, because I don't know what this series is after the second issue. I thought I had, like, maybe a little bit of an idea after that first issue, and, like, I guess it continues it here, but
it does.
It's weird.
It's really weird.
Yeah, so kind of set up what was the first issue, and then what was this issue?
Okay, so the first issue was, we start on the ice cream truck, a kid.
Well, you don't need to explain the entire issue.
Okay. A kid's parents are dead because his very poisonous pet spider got out and bit them, and he's kind of in denial about it. and Spider escapes, and they find an ice cream man who's a werewolf, and that's about all I remember, actually.
Yeah, the spider came from, it turns out in the end, came from the ice cream man. He somehow
It was
provided this child with a very, very poisonous spider, which is analogous to, in this issue, we have these two junkies. We get kind of their very tragic backstory of them falling into heroin use.
Is it heroin or meth?
They're injecting it into themselves. I don't
meth is
I don't do
smoking?
the drugs, but they appear to be tying off their arms and injecting themselves. So I assume that is heroin.
I think that means.
Okay. And the girlfriend is trying to rob people for money for heroin,
Including elderly people.
Yep, and she steals the ice cream truck, and then as the ice cream man appears in her home and gives her a dose of heroin, which she then ODs on. So it's the pattern, I guess, is like him just like providing horrible life ruining things to people. I don't entirely see what his thing is. Is he
also a werewolf?
He's also like a werewolf, which isn't addressed in this issue. Or something like a werewolf. It's weird.
It's really strange.
This one had very little, it didn't really have any supernatural stuff in it. It was just, you just have the knowledge that there's the weird shit going on with the ice cream man, and it's just this story of these drug addicts and the girlfriend being eventually tempted into ODing instead of giving it to her boyfriend. It's
also
depressing.
Is him okay? So at the end we get the boyfriend who lives because he didn't have that last dose that the ice cream man gave him or her. We see him live, and he goes to detox, and he gets his 1 week token. And the last shot is of him throwing it into the water. Does that mean a depressing sort of thing? Is he just gonna keep using?
I don't think. It's ambiguous, but I took it just to mean like he's just being like, this shit sucks. I'm supposed to feel good about this, and it sucks.
Yeah. I would say that because because also at the end they show these frogs, and this frog getting a fly. I think this guy's the fly, and the frog is his addiction. I think he's dead because of that.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Interesting. Maybe. I didn't really get the frog shot, so maybe that could be. But this, I don't know what this series is.
I like it though.
I'm super interested to see where it goes. I just hope it this series is so all over the place after 2 issues that I really hope that it starts to we start to get what is the goal of this series, or what is or at least get some sort of development with the ice cream man himself, other than him just fucking with people in the next issue or the next couple issues.
But maybe that's the idea. Maybe this ice cream man, instead of bringing happiness and joy to people, the idea is to bring horrific things into their lives that cause shit to go bad.
But I need more than that, you know?
I mean, you said it's an anthology series. It's just like a bunch of one-offs.
But specifically for the material this series is handling, I don't want just... I like anthology series. I don't want an anthology series that is just... This man comes in and ruins these people's lives, and that's it. And then the next issue is unconnected, and him ruining another person's life. I need more... If it's going to be that every issue, I need more to the story than that.
Okay. That's understandable. I can feel that.
It's specific to the material for me. But, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I think those are our books that we wanted to talk in specifics about. Jack, did you have a favorite panel in any of your books this week?
I did have a panel of the week. So my panel of the week is actually in Milk Wars as well. I had a cover and a panel from here. I just like, at some point they get into a spat and they're killing people. They're going around trying to get out of this office building, and I have to find it. Where is it? Okay. And it's on, God, I wish they had page numbers, but I'm kind of glad they don't. Also, it's like right in the middle. And, it's of Swamp Thing is there. Is this guy with a hockey mask supposed to be like a Jason kind of character or no?
He's Wild Dog. He's wearing his whole costume later in the issue. He's their friend. He's just a vigilante character.
Okay. In any case, he looks like Jason, like the serial killer. And in this specific shot, he is waving something that chops someone's head off, which is what Jason always does.
Like a lunch tray.
Yeah. And the shot has Swamp Thing saying, "Begone, abominations," with his things going through their heads and milk spraying everywhere. And then they have specifically point out that this one now headless dude's name it has a name tag that says, "Hello, my name is Dave." And then, whoever you said, what was his name? The hockey mask guy? Wild Dog says, "Yeah, later, Dave." I just really like it. It's a really great, like, single, like, it's not like, I don't know. I just remembered this panel and I really enjoyed seeing the "Hello, my name is Dave" and "Begone, abomination." I don't know. It's just really funny to me. I like it.
Yeah.
It's nothing special or anything. But it's special to me, and that's all that matters. Anyways, I like it.
It's a fun panel. Also a fun panel, for a different reason, in Justice League number 39 this week. We had a panel that was on a television where they were talking about these. There's apparently outside of DC, outside of the Capitol building, there's a crowd of people claiming to be Batman.
Oh yeah.
This is one of the many Batmen outside claiming to be the real one. And there's a panel, and it's just literally like a bunch of different incarnations of Batman standing outside of the Capitol building. We have like Frank Miller's Batman in the front. We have, I'm not entirely sure who that was. I tried to look it up and someone claimed it was Jim Aparo's Batman. I'm not familiar with how that one looks, so I'll take them at their word. The one next to him is the animated series Batman. We've got Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely's Dick Grayson Batman in kind of the middle with the more round head from when it was Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne. Very, very back on the right, there's Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's Batman from the Long
You can literally recognize all these? Are you kidding me?
Not that front middle one. I don't really know who that is. I looked it up. But and I don't really know who that one in the very back on the left is.
Jesus.
And then there's more in the back, like really, really little itty bitty ones that I don't recognize.
Yeah, but they're like specifically drawn differently, and it's almost
they're
like
all in different
are they
styles.
Yeah, but are they trying to be like, okay, because this is about toxic fanboy culture and everything. Are they trying to relate that with this? Like they're trying to say, I don't know what this these
means, but.
No, because, like, I don't know, one of the many Batmen outside claiming to be the real one. Like, it's kind of an idea about, different incarnations and what should we, have as what's the real one. Like that, there isn't a real one, that's the point.
People insist that, like, there's a correct version of characters. Like, that's very much what the villain, the fan in this series keeps saying, is that, like, there's, like, pretenders in these characters and stuff, and there's, like, Hal Jordan is the real Green Lantern and stuff, like that there's a wrong and a right way to do these characters. And I think that is definitely, I do see that now that you're saying that, like there is definitely an argument in this series that they're like, that's not a thing. Like there's not a wrong way to do these characters. Yeah. That's a fun little like Easter egg / like tie in to the theme. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. I remember reading this and thinking it was funny, and I didn't even realize they were all drawn in a very, very specific way.
Yeah.
Like, that's great, because at first glance, it's just like, oh, there are different people in different Batman outfits, whatever.
Yeah, because they're drawn in the style of the artists, rather than, because, I mean, they're all Batman's costume. They're, like, slightly different looking costumes, but, like, I mean, they're all...
Yeah, well, you have the blue and the black.
Yeah, but, like, it's the style that really tells you which Batman they are. But, yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Also just fun to see all those different versions of Batman together. Fun.
Very good.
Right. Jack, can you give me a one-sentence synopsis of what happened in Hellboy this week?
Oh, okay. Okay. I can. One second. Okay. People are bursting into flames. Hellboy and team go to investigate and uncover a great tragedy that has happened.
Okay. Is that it?
I guess so.
All right.
Yeah, that kind of is it, isn't it?
And there's also the big fiery monster that they did. They did.
The big fiery monster is an embodiment of the tragedy, though.
No, I see what you're saying as a synopsis for the issue. I will take it. You do not die.
Yeah, thank you. That's probably one of our shortest ones. That was pretty good, I thought.
To the point. Most of ours are very rambling. Mine are very rambling.
Yes, I always win. You're terrible.
Yeah. Oh, also, very quick note, before we move on from the books this week, The Brave and the Bold. Don't bother.
Don't bother? That's Sarah.
It's not bad. It's honestly, it's like the art is very good. It's a lot of Irish mythology, and it's like, I was kind of excited for it because I'm going to Ireland next week. To be like, like some Ireland stuff. Yeah, I am leaving tomorrow. But like, it's like the mythology stuff is all told in this very not old English, but like storybook fashion, and it's all about like, oh, and here's this character, and they begat this character, and centuries ago, like, just like spelling out all of this mythology stuff for like, this page has like 6 dialogue bubbles that are just like explaining mythology, and it's just it's a lot. It's a lot, and I just found myself just being like, without even thinking about it, I just started just like glazing my eyes and just looking at the art and not reading it, because it was,
I'm sure the art's great.
Kind of dull.
Is it?
The art is very good. I really like Liam Sharp. But
So maybe this was kind of a tall order for a first-time writer?
Yeah, maybe. I think it just, like, it leaned a little bit too hard into spelling out all of the history of this mythology. Anyways, we don't need to get too much into it. I don't want to, like, bash the book, but you were curious about it.
That's too bad, though.
Yeah.
I was curious.
Anyway, next week. So that's the end of our spoiler section. Next week, we've got some books that are going to be coming out. We will not be talking about these books in specifics because, again, I will be out of town and we recorded early.
Oh, yeah, we recorded, should we tell them how we did that?
We're off, Mike.
Oh.
But we are going to talk about kind of some of these books in general, along with solicitations for May. But next week...
also, we're going to give our predictions.
Yeah, we give some predictions for what's going to happen in these books, like a sealed envelope thing. We got Doctor Strange number 386, Thanos number 16, Avengers number 682, because it comes out every week. The Terrifics number 1 that I am extremely excited for, and it is going to pain me that I'm not going to be able to read it until I come back, but I'm sure I'll be having plenty of fun. And then I assume you will not read this, but I am very excited for the Black Hammer spinoff, Dr. Star and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows number 1.
Yeah, because I need to read Black Hammer. Is it a long thing? Is it long, like...
It's not a whole lot of issues.
A lot of stuff?
I think there's maybe 2 trades of it out now.
Okay.
They're relaunching as a new subtitle with a new number 1 in the next, I think it's like next month or 2.
So it's not been around that long, but like it's really, really been like super popular.
It's for like Dark Horse series. Yes, it's been very popular for very well selling series for them.
Okay,
like the grand scheme of
cool.
Their stuff.
I'm excited. I'll have to do that sometime. My mom just sent me over Infinite Crisis, so now I have all the books that I need to go into whole
you have
Crisis
of Infinite Earths, right? Okay.
Yeah, Crisis of Infinite Earths. I have Infinite Crisis, and I have Identity Crisis, and I have Multiversity, and then I want to read 52 after all those. Correct?
I mean, technically, Multiversity is chronologically after all of those, and also doesn't really fit into like. You can read Multiversity anytime after you've read like Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's not really like part of like the running plot of those series. But it is it is very good.
And there's like a specific running plot between like Crisis on Infinite Earths and an Infinite Crisis.
It's not like they are direct sequels to each other, but there are definitely plot lines that pick up from other stuff. You're talking about Crisis of Infinite Earths to Infinite Crisis? Oh, there is specifically one. There's multiple characters that are like directly from, like, Infinite Crisis is a follow-up to. It's Jeff Johns, like, in the way that a lot of his comics are. It's like both a love letter and a critique of Infinite Crisis.
Okay. But I'll, like, understand everything in Infinite Crisis after Crisis on Infinite Earths? Most of it?
Infinite Crisis is... we'll talk about it when you get to it. I really like Infinite Crisis. It has suffered quite a bit from being when it is ripped from the time period in which it released, because it was very, very much set in the status quo of where then they did a lot of setup to the event before it happened. There's some stuff to be. You just kind of need to roll with it. But I really like it. Cool.
Okay, I'm excited. And spoilers.
So let's use our remaining time here to. I want to dig a little bit more into this Marvel relaunch thing. This fresh start. So, okay. So the real thing I want to talk about is, so with the return of many of these characters at Marvel back to their original incarnations, this means a couple things. One, it just, again, hammers home the cyclical nature of comics, that, like, it's always going to return to Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Bruce Banner. Like, it's always, those are the characters. It's reinforcing that idea that, like, any diversion into other characters it's always going to come back. And also, they obviously don't address this directly. It feels like it's because there were also rumors when Bendis left, that he left largely over disagreements over their plans to basically dial back on the diversity of their lineup.
Oh.
He apparently, again, this is a rumor, entirely unsubstantiated, but it lines up with then this relaunch and some scuttlebutt from, like, between then and now. But, he was a big part of, like, he introduced, like, Miles Morales as Ultimate Spider-Man. He wrote Jessica Jones. He introduced Riri Williams, who is the black female person who's not going by Iron Man, but she's in an Iron Heart. She is in an Iron Man suit, and it's basically Iron Man right now, or was. I think she just just stopped doing that. But I'm not sure. But like he's been a big part of trying to kind of diversify Marvel's core lineup. And they've been getting some very vocal complaints from what I would contend is a minority of, I mean, regardless what the size is, but there have been people who have claimed that they are forcing diversity into their lineup at the expense of their storytelling. Something that I don't know that I agree with that conceptually. But this feels like a direct response to that. That people are calling for the original characters to come back. And the result of that is that the diversity of their lineup has been dialed back by like a factor of 10.
Okay. So are they getting rid of things like Miles Morales?
They included Miles Morales
like
still in his Spider-Man costume in the like teaser image that they put out, but he's like way off to the side, and we got Peter Parker Spider-Man right in front. They make a very big point.
That's kind of blatant.
They like very blatantly put like Peter Parker Spider-Man right front and center. Not and this isn't like he seems to be like central to this image that they're going to be pushing Peter Parker as Spider-Man in this new relaunch.
Interesting.
Along with the returns of Tony Stark, Bruce Banner. The Hulk has been an Asian teenager named Amadeus Cho for the last few years, and they're bringing Banner back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is also kind of scummy sounding just because of the editor-in-chief getting that whole debacle. I'm surprised they're so heavy-handed with this like thing after, he seemingly wasn't too caring about Asian culture or giving it.
And again, I don't know that any of this is like, I mean, like no sane person at Marvel would look at this and be like, all right, we need to make all the characters white again. Like nobody's doing that.
No.
That's not the conscious thing they're doing. They are responding, what I assume the people at Marvel are doing is responding to people wanting the characters they know historically as these characters to come back. But it does undo a lot of years of progress in that category. And basically what I wanted, the idea I wanted to float here, and this isn't necessarily tied to diversity. I think the diversity thing is a really unfortunate kind of like they're getting caught in the crossfire here. They're getting caught in the crossfire here of this like age-old debate of like in comic books is Captain America, is that Steve Rogers, or is Captain America a costume and a name that could be handed down to other characters? Like, do you have any thoughts on that as like an idea? Like, what?
I mean, I've noticed that it if it's written well, it should stand, and theoretically, I think it'd be a nice market to have if they had like stories that had to follow a timeline, that had to change with the times because characters are getting old. Like, it's just, I feel like it's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
To not have to write yourself into a corner and then have to write yourself out of it. They're just creating a new room to work within. And that's lazy writing. I remember when, Breaking Bad was like on TV and everything, people were loving the writing, and it's great writing because what they did was they wrote themselves into a corner, and then everyone's like, okay, I have no idea what the fuck they're gonna do. And then, next episode, holy shit, they wrote out of that, and I don't feel slighted. I don't feel like it's bullshit. It makes sense now, hindsight, but god damn it. This way that they're dealing with it, it seems like it's just a lazy way to be like, okay, now we're going on to this.
I completely agree with your assessment that I feel like I'm being cheated a little bit. Like, when this happens. Like, and when sometimes, like, I always have mixed feelings because, like, I do really like the characters of, like, I'm interested in reading a series about Tony Stark. But, like, also, I don't know, like, over time, is that all we're gonna ever get out of these characters? Is just, or out of, like, Captain America? Are we just gonna keep getting Steve Rogers stuff forever and ever and ever? It feels like change is necessary. And to me, when I was first getting into comics, one of the things that was the most exciting when I was, like, learning for the first time about all these characters was this idea of the legacy of characters. I guess more so on the DC side, because that's always kind of been a little bit more of a thing for them, less so in recent years. The idea that, like, there have been many Flashes, you know? There have been there have been a number of Green Lanterns. And
I have noticed that DC is in general better at this than Marvel.
But that's the thing is, in recent years, they have also dialed that back.
Okay. Do you think that's why Christopher Priest wanted to write his Justice League arc so bad? Like, that's kind of the basis for what he's seeing a problem in.
It definitely seems to fit into this idea. Like, and it's not even that they're going back to the original version of these characters. They're going back to the popular versions of these characters, you know? Like, there was... so it's not even like we're returning to the original concept of the character. No, it's for pure sales reasons. We're returning to the one character that we know will sell very well. I find that a little bit frustrating because I really like the idea of new characters taking up the mantle and having to learn the ropes and eventually coming into their own, and you get kind of a different take on the character. I was really excited I would have had mixed feelings that this was what they would have done again forever, but I really liked Jim Gordon as Batman in Scott Snyder's run.
Great.
It was done, it seems like it shouldn't work, and then it was written so well that, like, you just totally buy into it, and it had this totally different feel. It was like this, like, cop drama feeling, and it had a little bit more of a detective slant to it, and, like, kind of a little bit of a Dirty Harry feel was how Scott Snyder said that he wanted it to feel. With him.
Now, when that was coming out, were people mad at it? Were people just kind of like, okay, this is the story, or what?
There was definitely some pushback. It wasn't a huge amount of pushback. The most of the pushback that was happening was the big robot suit. People thought it looked silly. They thought it looked like a rabbit was really, but, there was some pushback on, like, we want Bruce Wayne back. But, but then, like, eventually Bruce Wayne comes back, and I find that cycle of, like, let's do someone else, but then we're gonna, at the end of this, we're gonna go back to Bruce Wayne, you know? It kind of saps any of the meaning out of any of these other characters taking over the mantle. Like...
Yeah.
And I find it very frustrating.
It's not that it can never happen, it's just that it seems lazy. It seems like a lazy part, and that it's just a service to fans who shouldn't really have a say in the creative aspects of something ever.
Yeah, that specifically has been a big debate that has been raging on social media for a little while recently, in regards to, like, this Comics Gate bullshit and stuff. But this idea that, like, creators are somehow beholden to the consumers, that they are basically, like, they are creating for them, and that, like, if they don't like something, they're doing it wrong. Which is some of the most wrong-headed thinking about creative media I've ever heard. Art is not created for you as a consumer. They're not employed by you, they're employed by Marvel, and they can do whatever Marvel will let them do. But like, anyways, that's like almost a whole separate issue, but it also kind of does tie in an integral way into this feeling of like the stubbornness of fans and the publishers giving into that. And it really just does suck, because the superheroes of all genres are so primed with that legacy aspect to promote new diverse characters. Like, and yet they're totally undoing all of that, because the fans won't accept new versions of them.
And to their point, like, yes, they're concerned about money, of course, but are these fans who are so, into this culture already, are they just gonna up and leave?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird concept? Like, I don't know if it's the old school fan that's really, if that's who we're talking about here. I don't know in general what the culture of like what age this has to do with or whatever. Like, are they really going to stop buying comics because someone else is in the mantle of Iron Man?
They're probably going to stop reading Iron Man. I don't know.
I think it belongs. Maybe it belongs in some places. Maybe they just need to have another part where they don't do that. I don't know. It's tough though, because then you're saying like you have to have multiple titles. And multiple...
Marvel specifically has been doing for a little bit. They've had up until this new relaunch, they've had a lot of characters that have just had. We've had two Spider-Men for a while.
Yeah.
You want to read Miles Morales? Here he is. You want to read Peter Parker because you will only accept Peter Parker as Spider-Man? Here's Peter Parker over here. They're both Spider-Man. You want Jane Foster as Thor? Here's that. We've also got a book over here that's just Thor. Like, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it displaces their talent. It makes their talent go all over the place as opposed to, it's okay. I mean,
yeah, I was expecting this to be a little bit more of a debate. So, like, if anyone had...
Why? What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know. I do feel like there are maybe... No. I didn't, necessarily... Because I'm... what I was about to say is that, I do think there could be reasonable arguments for why, they should keep writing stories about certain characters. But that's just not really where I come down on it.
I feel I specifically am aware of this kind of stuff. I'm gonna say wrestling again. Get ready, because with wrestling, I think there's a big difference because there's a man in charge who's over 70 years old and he doesn't understand what people like in wrestling anymore, but he owns the biggest monopoly on wrestling or the biggest company in wrestling, and he is doing the same creative things over and over again, even though they should be treated as differently in this generation as opposed to in the 90s. And I think the difference is that he has complete control over all creative in the World Wrestling Entertainment. And so I think that fans thinking about what, creative maybe should go in the direction of is a little bit different than, say, this, where they do have creator-owned stuff. They do have a corporation, but the freedom that these writers get to write these characters is so much better that why wouldn't you just want a good writer to write a good story? If it becomes so like keep these the same, it's going to be just that. It's going to be the same. And it's just really annoying to see that not working in something like wrestling, and something that it's trying to get it different and trying to be, changing with the times and trying to do something that changes over the course of decades. And so and it's failing because people are like, no, we don't want that. That's too much. Shame on you. So that's kind of how I think about it. That's the first thing I thought of when they keep doing these relaunches. It's safe. It works, so it's fine. And these fans, they want it to be safe. It's safe. It's good. Just let me have this. It's my, it's my thing.
Yeah.
Don't change it. But it's a creative outlet. Like, motherfuckers, like, it's creativity. Don't stifle creativity.
Yeah. And it's weird from a publishing standpoint as well, because it's like no secret, like the comics industry is a continually shrinking industry. Like it's not an industry that is growing. It was for a little bit, and it hasn't been for a while. And it's confusing to me how this is going to benefit them in the long run, this strategy. Like, for a little while there, it seemed like they were really starting to with characters like Ms. Marvel and like a lot of their new, like, younger characters, like they were really starting to make a big push at Marvel specifically to like court new younger readers. And then the thing that always happens at these publishers is like they might do that kind of stuff, but then they always cycle back to this to appease the old readers. And your business is not going to grow and be sustainable if you're always trying to appease the same aging reader base.
Yeah.
Like, you
That's
need
never gonna
to
survive.
make new customers. There's a reason why marketing in the last 50 years has become entirely about youth and youth worship and appealing to young people, because that's how you grow a business. That's how you get new customers. And I'm not even like talking about the morality of that, but I'm just saying, like, as a business, it's confusing to me that they always cave to this aging reader base. Rather than trying to gain new readers. It's weird.
Also, because it's going to be interesting to see how they use that young adult line of DC, because theoretically that would be a fantastic place to, maybe have different influences of superheroes. I mean, obviously they're going to have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, or whatever, but maybe they give less of a light on them. Maybe they treat more people like as important, like really important, as opposed to their safe bets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's the problem is that like those like it's a weird situation. I think we talked about this on a recent episode, that like when you it is a proven thing in comics that like it sells better if you put a new character in the mantle of an existing hero rather than...
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can have the whole book be about Batman or whatever, but maybe within the book have him like really like, I don't know, having to deal with some other character that's lesser known, like something that doesn't make it only about Batman. Make it, about this guy too. Make it a huge part of it. I don't know.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just, it disappoints me because I like to see the industry grow and change, and it continually feels like the consumer base that they listen to pushes back in a way that they always cave to, and I find it frustrating. But that's kind of our thoughts on that, I guess. I am like, again, like it's mixed feelings because I do have all those misgivings, but then like they're putting Jason Aaron on a book on Avengers, and I'm very excited for that. I'm always excited for more Venom stuff. They haven't announced most of the new books yet, so we'll wait and see. Maybe there will be like other books, like maybe they're just moving those characters into other roles, but like it's not really the same thing. I don't know. But anyway, it's a wait and see thing. We have to just wait and see. All they've really put out is that like, well, for example, like they are bringing Bruce Banner back. I'm sorry, we're trying to wrap up, but I did just remember that they are bringing Bruce Banner back, but the Hulk that's going to be on the Avengers is She-Hulk.
Oh!
So, like, they are, like, I think even when the publisher, I think it's not hopeless, because even if the publisher continually tries to push the status quo of things back to that same old thing, like, writers are ultimately going to influence, like, where this stuff goes. And, like, when good people do stuff like that, like, I think that, like, we are gonna, like, you can't stop progress, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, wait, do you think that also means that they're gonna, let Bruce Banner have his own book while, She-Hulk is just gonna be on a team and not really, like, have any delving into her character or anything? Which is, I don't know.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Interesting thought, though.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. That's probably gonna do it for this week. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. The absolute biggest thing you can do for us if you like the show is give us a review or a star rating on iTunes. Give us a 5 or I'll find you. If you enjoyed what you heard, let someone know about us in person or on social media. I think I told you folks on a previous episode to walk up to a random stranger in the street and grab them by the collar and scream in their face to listen to our show. I encourage that again. If the police come at you, my name is Jack, and you can tell them I told you directly to do that.
Yes.
We release episodes on Sundays, so make sure to check back in next week, or better yet, subscribe to the podcast feed, and don't even have to think about it.
Cheerio. And you can do that on the iTunes, the Stitcher, the TuneIn, the Overcast, and the Goggle Play Music. So whichever one you prefer, we've got you. In the meantime, before the next episode, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook under the handle @ComicsCovered, spelled as you normally would. You can also find web archives of the episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com and on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. So check it out.
And this is Doug. After the fact, the rest of Jack's audio got kind of edited up by the internet gremlins. They were hungry. If you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, send us a message on Facebook or Twitter, or at our email, comicscovered@gmail.com. And just our sign-off is missing then, so I guess I'll do both parts. Thanks again for listening. I'm Jack, and I'm just a horrible criminal, and I don't know nothing. And I'm Doug, also. And I'm a smart, intelligent man, and the true host. So, write in to our Twitter hashtag the true host. Thanks for listening.